Good morning, driver. You're taking over for the Christchurch driver for the trip up to Arthur's Pass for the annual freezing workers picnic. That sounds fun. You're in charge of the second of 2 trains. It's a Sunday, so there's no other traffic on the line. But watch the signals carefully as the other picnic train is not far ahead of you. And with that, hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are on NZTS Workshop's Midland line route for Train Sim Classic. One thing I do need to check. Are the doors open? Can I move? Yeah, we're heading from here at the bottom of the route at Springfield up to Arthur's Pass, where an electric locomotive, the EO class, will take over. Alright, let's change the brake difficulty multiplier with Control Shift 1. There we go, to make it easiest. There we go. And let's also get the gauge lights on. Go away. Okay, I don't think we're loading passengers. This is the train we are in is the New Zealand Railways DJ class in the bog standard DuPont pink livery. This is also the this route is also set in 1968 for those who don't know. So it's set in the transition time between steam and diesel. Uh-oh, that signals at danger, right. Shut it down. Come on, barriers. Come on. Center player. Is that... Are the barriers going down? Oh, I was looking at the wrong track. That signals at danger. We're on the left track. There we go. Barrier should start going down now. One thing I do have to watch out for is red signals. Is that one there? Yes. So I will have to be careful-ish. This route is actually really cool. Oh, crap! Apply the brakes! Stop! Oh, no. Oh. So blank... Okay. I'm not used to New Zealand signaling. I thought that signal meant it was... That smaller signal was for this track, and that... The signal was blank, meaning I had permission to go. Right, anyway. Okay, enough panicking for one day. Let's see. Alright, let's see if there's anything else I can get on. Engine room, nah. Ground light, come on. Front headlights. Whoa. Why am I slowing down? Oh, it was wheel spin. That's why. I think it was wheel spin anyway. Cab heater, foot warmer. I'll turn the foot warmer on. Doesn't do anything, but there we... The DJ is a nice locomotive. Also, for this route, there are quite a few packs as well that you could get for it on Steam. There is a livestock wagon pack, a livery pack for the DJ, both of the 2 aforementioned I've got, and then there's 2 steam locomotives. The what is it? The JA and KB class steam locomotives. I haven't got either of the steam locomotives because I've heard they're absolutely horrific to drive. I prefer driving the diesels myself. But the JA and the KB are actually notable for being the only, as far as I know, the only 3-foot 6-inch gauge steamers in the game. Right. We've got quite a bit to go. This scenario that we're playing is split into 2 parts. I think. Okay, it's the two. They're both. So it seems as though we're going to be splitting a scenario at Craigieburn. So we're going via staircase at 8.3 miles and then Craigieburn. Fun fact about this route, once we finish up at Arthur's Pass, there's actually need to check the signals. Arthur's Pass, that in this time period there are still electric locomotives, the EO class, going in between Arthur's Pass and Otira through the 8-kilometer long Otira tunnel. Oh, wrong button. That's the button. Oh goodness. Oh no. Ah, I'm in trees. Oh no. See if we can get a good shot. There we go. These coaches that are used are very 19th century, I must say, with the balconies at either end. There's also a ton of rolling stock you get by default with the route, lots of freight stuff. What's also nice is that the DJ is also decently powerful enough to get up these hills. Yeah, I'm at full throttle and I'm losing speed. I do need to check. Okay, there aren't any more signals for the time being on the HUD, so I do have to check the signals because we do have that other picnic train ahead of us. And failure. I have already canned one recording of this already because I ran a red signal. Don't like to talk about it. I must say, yeah, the coaching stock is extremely well modeled. Like the textures, the weathering, everything is just really, really nice. Whoa, that was a bit of stutter. Okay, there is a signal in a mile, so I will have to keep an eye on that. Alright, we are on a downhill section, so yeah, if I go beyond 0%, there's actual dynamic brakes, so I try to use that instead of the normal brakes. Alright, we have a signal coming up in 0.7 miles. This is a really rural line, I must say. Alright, that signal is displaying... looks like a green aspect, but hard to tell from this far out. We'll have to be... I am having to be extremely careful. One thing I do find annoying is there are 3 payware South African routes for this game, which are 3-foot 6-inch gauge if I'm not mistaken, and all of them are terrible. I can't see the signal aspect from this far away. seems to be displaying a green. I can't tell from this far away, though. That's worrying. Right, we seem to be heading through a yard of some sort. Which is Kauai Bush. I love these New Zealand names. Nowadays, the electric wires from Arthur's Pass to Tier have been removed, and it's all done by diesels. Okay, blank signal, which means it's green. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I'm like, what aspect is the signal displaying when it's turned off and it's actually supposed to be green, right? Let's give it the full welly in order to try to get us up to line speed. I haven't got a signal for a bit. One thing with the DJ, no assists, you do have to keep an eye on your velocity, otherwise it will run away with you. Especially with the extreme gradients that this route has. That's vigilance. Yeah, when that light goes up and that whistle goes off, that's the vigilance that I have to mash the Q button in order to prevent the emergency brakes from applying. I learned that the hard way. Okay, right. Right, I do have to keep a careful eye on the old velocity here. Come on. Yeah, this route does have very rapid grade changes. There are some routes which transcend the graphics quality of the train sim and just make it feel like real and alive, and I think this is one of the rare routes for TS Classic that actually does that. Alright. Right. Oh my goodness. It's like I'm looking down a roller coaster. Ah! Alright, there is a signal in a bit. Oh goodness. Okay, it's red. I can see that from here, so I mean, I'm going to have to start slowing down. Right. Do have to be extremely careful. We are on a relatively steep downward grade, and that is most definitely a red signal. What I don't get is that the driving position for the DJ is on the right-hand side, but the signals are on the left-hand side. So I don't really get that, why that is. Is that signal blank? Okay, that signal is actually blank. I don't know why it was showing up red before. I think it must have just been a graphical error of some kind. Alright. Alright. Whoa, look at how far down that is. Whoa. Also, another thing about this route, it has such a weird, it has so many assets that it can cause major frames issues if you don't keep it under control. You do have to slow down to 25. Whoa, whoa, whoa. 25 limit in force now. Yeah, you do have to... One thing about this route, you have to keep your wits about you. If you mess up, you're off a cliff, literally. Whoa, that's tight. Yeah, you do have to be very careful. And I see what I meant about a large amount of assets having an issue with causing frames issues. There you go. Right, we can go up to 27. Alright. Ooh. Nice vibe. Oh, goodness. Okay, 31 limit in force. Look at this bridge, man! The beauty of this route is insane. Like, look at that. And pause. Let's see if we can get another good shot here. Want to zoom in a bit? So. Yeah, I think that's a good shot, that is. Wow. I must say, this is some of the best TS Classic scenery I have ever seen. Alright, 34 limit coming into force. This, you know what this reminds me of? I visited Big Sur in California, which is like just south of San Francisco, southwest of San Francisco. Like, if you're an American, like, if you've ever watched any television in your life, you'll know what I'm talking about, because Big Sur is actually where most American car commercials are filmed. Fun fact. However, I was going to say something. This scenery reminds me of Big Sur for some reason. I can't quite put my finger on why, but there you go. Oh, look at the view! Whoa! This is mad! I thought the Story of Forest Rail add-on looked good. Like the branch line on the Story of Forest Rail. But this is on a whole nother level for good scenery. No wonder there's a major tourist service on this line in the modern day. It's absolutely stunning. Alright. Whoa! Like, the gaps in between the tunnels is just mad. Like, the scenery is just insane. This is bonkers. What are my frames? 20 frames per second. Could be better, I must say. Right, we have a signal in 0.5 miles. And welcome back. So we do have to keep an eye on that signal. And and I need to put the brakes on if... yeah, because there is a train ahead of us. We've been going at the limit, however... see what I meant about a variable frame rate? That's 18 frames. I think that's a red signal. Is that a red signal? I can't tell. Frames going down even further. That's 15 frames. I have to try and maintain speed up this hill. Okay, signal is blank. We are clear back up to line speed. This is I always look at the signal and I think it's a red signal. Alright. Staircase in 1.7 miles. We've got 2 tunnels before then. Via staircase, and it looks as though all the manual points are set. Okay, so picnic special number 1 seems to be just past staircase. Right. So we are tailing him pretty well, I should say. Oh my goodness, my frame rate... why has it gotten so low? That's 14 frames per second. I mean, this is playable, but just barely. Hopefully the amount of assets decreases. Because otherwise, my game's just going to keep on getting laggier. 17 frames a second? Okay, fine. Okay, we do have a 31 limit coming up in a bit. So we are catching our friend in front. My goodness, the scenery is stunning. My goodness, the frame rate. Goodness gracious, the frame rate. I would not want to be driving a steamer with this amount of poor frames. Right, in another tunnel. Yeah. Okay, frame rate is back to 30 FPS in a tunnel. Hopefully it doesn't decrease. And okay, 35 frames. 30 frames. Yeah, I'll take that. Oh, and frame rate's gone down. Awesome. Holy moly, that's a long way down. Oh my goodness, I'm actually getting vertigo. I think that's the first time I've ever got vertigo in TS Classic. I think the only other route in a train simulator which gives me vertigo is the Midland in Train Sim World, unsurprisingly. Because that basically, after you leave Innsbruck, it just goes straight up a cliff. Alright, shut it down. Another tunnel, staircase in 0.5 miles. Another thing which is going to cause me much pain and suffering is I've never driven this route before. So I'm just having to learn on the fly, as it were, how to drive, how to operate the DJ, how to Yeah, frame rate is very variable on this route, and I don't know why. Alright. Area around staircase is loaded in. Do have to be extremely careful. Heading through a neat little gorge. Wow. This is staircase. We've got, okay, yellow signal. That means here I'm starting the slow down process now. Yellow signal, and then there's a single yellow, right. Alright, then there's a red signal upcoming. Okay, so it's staircase, ladies and gentlemen. Wait, this is Craigieburn? Oh, we've stopped at Craigieburn in 0.2 miles. Oh. Huh? We stopped? I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to stop. 0.26 miles to Craigieburn Main West, I think. Let's check the map. Surely not. Where is Craigieburn? That's picnic special number 1. Surely it can't be just 0.26 miles. That's Avoca, I think. Come on. Where is Craigieburn? Zoom out a bit. Craigieburn. Yeah, Craigieburn Main West is far beyond here. It's not just 0.26 miles. It is... Alright. 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 Now I've just got to wait. Let's have a bit of a look. Since we're here, we might as well take a bit of a look around staircase. And there's not a lot here. There's a shed, a small waiting room with a telephone and one bench, small piece of track. Yeah, that's it. Wait a minute. And then there's one building over here. Is there a station here? Okay. There's a station here just for one house. That is insane. Alright, we're clear up to 30 miles an hour. That's... Look at that view, man. Look at the view! It's hard to believe this is Train Sim Classic. I'm surprised my game is running this well. Look at that! Holy moly! Alright, we do have a 25 limit coming up, so I will have to slow down for that. There's no more signals coming up for now. Oh! Alright, shut it down. Shut it down. Look at that bridge! Whoa! 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 My goodness, this is high. Alright, and into another tunnel we go. Looks as though we have another start going up from here. Man, I am staggered by this scenery. I heard the scenery was good, but I had no idea it was this good. My jaw is just flapping about all over the place. I'm just drinking the scenery in, man. This is awesome. The developers did a superb job on this route, and I mean superb. They absolutely knocked the ball out of the park. This is probably one of my favorite TS Classic routes, and I know I say that a lot, but this is genuinely like next level quality. Like, wow. Wow, wow, wow. I want to come here in real life now. Like, I want to, like, 100% I want to come here in real life. Another tunnel. Alright. Oh, there's like a cliff like right there. It's just a sheer drop for like 1,000 feet. That is nuts. One thing I do want to do is go to Craigieburn Main West and check to see if the points are set correctly. Seems as though they are. Okay. Signal in 0.12 miles. It is a yellow signal, so that means the next one is going to be red. Right. That's not good. 20 frames a second. That's tolerable. Right. 0.8 miles to a red signal. Oh, there's no barrier! Ah! Oh my goodness. 0.7 miles to the red signal. We've still got a while to go until Craigieburn. Vigilance just nearly caught me out there. It's so quiet that you'd mistake it for something else. That is nuts. We are literally on the side of a cliff. Alright, 0.5 miles to the red signal. I have to assume it's red. Wow. Like, I am staggered by the quality of this scenery. I'm having to... like, words fail me for the job the developers did on this route. It is, like, simply superb. 0.3 miles to go to the signal. Imagine trying to drive this route HUDless. I'm not really the person who's able to drive HUDless. Another massive bridge. Alright, there appears to be some kind of halt here. Yeah, there appears to be some kind of halt there. .7 miles. It appears to be blank. I think. Yeah, it's blank. Okay. Yeah, it's blank. Alright, so how much farther is the picnic special ahead of me? Wow, okay, a considerable distance, but he's almost at wherever the next passing point. However, the reason we keep getting yellow signals is because the signals are just so far apart that it doesn't really matter. It will. More scenery is now obscured by trees. Not surprising, but shame. Right, another tunnel. 1 mile to the next signal. I'm not surprised this takes 2 miles. Whoa, why is my camera zoomed so far out? Oh, that's loud. Oh, another bridge. Yes. Whoa, another really tall bridge. 0.3 miles to the next signal, and then we can go back up to 45 miles an hour. I'll switch the throttle off. Why are we going so slowly all of a sudden? Okay, it's blank. Vig the vigilance goes off so infrequently that it's a major event in itself. We'll be clear back up to 45 miles an hour and 0.15 miles. How much far is it to Craigieburn? Craigieburn. So here, so hard to tell, honestly, hard to tell. Maybe about 2/3, who knows? My goodness, that branch just thwacked me in the head. Oh dear. We're on a 1 in 50 gradient. Yep, we're stuck. We're stuck at 22 miles an hour because we aren't powerful enough to hold the speed up this hill. Goodness gracious. Why is vigilance being so hectic now? Okay, according to the ETA on the HUD, it's saying 12 minutes. Honestly, when you compare this to the, like, say, the endless British routes that we have in TS Classic, this is something so completely different, so completely out of the ordinary, and so, like, just, like, such good quality that I can confidently recommend this, even at but not at full price. Try to get it on a sale if you can. Alright, yellow signal coming up. That means in 0.5 miles there should be a red signal. I want to get to the... Okay, so we seem to have... Either the river has ascended a lot, or we've been... Yeah, I think the river has ascended a lot. We haven't got such a spectacular grade anymore. We're coming into wherever this is. Avosa. Avoca? Avosa. I think I'll go by Avosa. Right, yellow signal. We're not stopping at Avosa. We're just going straight through. It's one of those, I think it's a small, like, request stop halt. Oh my goodness, there's just a few buildings here. My goodness. Can't tell what that signal aspect is. Trouble is, there are two signals back to back, so I don't want to take the risk. Alright, so that's first signal appears to be blank. That means we're good. Okay, we're good. Let's get up to line speed. The sounds as well are really nice. .43 limit is now in place. The vigilance seems to be coming on more often now that I've travelled a bit. Oh. .34 limit is now in force. Okay, another blank signal. Alright, signal coming up. Alright, blank signal. We're clear onto the next section of track. Seem to have reached a plateau. Well, somewhat plateau. We're still heading up. And we're going to keep going up until we hit the until we get to Arthur's Pass. It's like it's very high up. Oh, it's so nice to be able to go at this speed. Right, Craigieburn approach coming up. Right, I need to check. Craigieburn approach east, main west, approach west. Craigieburn main west. There we go. Okay, so we've got to stop there. Alright, 0.7 miles to go until part 1 of the scenario is complete. Alright, blank signal. I hope. Yeah, blank. Alright, can we get to Craigieburn? Point what? Right. Alright, almost there. Stop. Right. Craigieburn. Is there an interior view if I press 5? No, there isn't. Oh, that's a shame. You've completed the scenario successfully. Yes. There we go. Scenario complete. Right, let us go on to part 2. Alright, we are back for part 2. It is, fun fact, it is actually the next day. Didn't have time to record this yesterday. Let's make the braking a bit easier. There we go. Let's turn the headlights on. Oh, that's the heater. Probably will need it though. Right. And let's open the windows well while we're here. Alright. For part 2, we are heading up to finishing the trip to Arthur's Pass. We've got to go via TSR ahead in 6.38 miles. Oh, did I turn the rear headlights on by mistake? I must have done. There we go. Front headlights are on and functional. Full speed ahead. Definitely the toughest part of the trip was part 1. That was definitely where the steeper gradients were. However, we not only have to get to Arthur's Pass in this scenario, we also have to do some shunting maneuvers at the Arthur's Pass yard, which should be interesting. It's pretty crazy how long this route actually is. It takes 2 hours to do the run from Springfield up to Arthur's Pass, and approximately another half hour for the EO to do the run from Arthur's Pass to Otira, and then another 20 minutes to do the run from Otira up to Aiken. So it's 2 hours and 50 minutes, which is quite a decent length. Like, I don't know of anyone who would just sit down for the entire for an entire trip like this, who would want to drive a virtual train for almost 3 hours. I mean, oh man, this is all right. I've also been in between these 2 sessions, the 2 parts, I have been perusing the manual a bit, and I hopefully know how the signaling system works. Fingers crossed. Alright. Looks as though we do have a clear signal ahead. Hard to tell at this distance, though. Vigilance. The vigilance system only goes off if you don't touch the controls for more than 50 seconds at a time. Because I'm needing to thrash a DJ up this hill. It's crazy how, in a lot of cases, the DJ has trouble getting up this hill when... And when you think about it, this is a at the time, state-of-the-art modern diesel engine, that you really wonder how steamers were even able to get up this hill. I know that the New Zealand Railways KB class was specifically engineered for the job, but it still seems incredible. Which is what... you don't see that too much in mountain railways. For example, the Swiss electrified a lot of their meter gauge mountain railways from the get-go, and Deutsche Bahn did so for the Mittenwaldbahn, because it would have just been too much for a steamer to handle, which is definitely why the Arthur's Pass to Otira section of the line is electrified, because even diesels in this area would have an absolute, and definitely steamers would have an absolute terrible time trying to get up the punishing 1 in 33 gradient. I think we're clear. .37 limit incoming. Yeah, the DJ I have found out is equipped with the so-called advanced brakes, so I basically have to make sure that I have to put it on the most realistic difficulty, on the least realistic difficulty, I mean, otherwise this thing would be an absolute pain in the rear end to drive. Shut it down. Yeah, we're on a 1 in 65 downward grade. Oof. And the frame rate isn't too good either in this area. 15 frames per second is not something to be proud of. Alright, signal approaching. Alright. We appear to be clear, I think. Man, there's just one tiny shack here. Alright, 1 mile to the go via point. Ooh, that's a nice little lake off to our right. That's cool. For some reason, this route reminds me of a like a combination of Cajon Pass and like it's okay. It's not really a combination of anything. It's unique, really. It is most definitely unique. New Zealand isn't really a place like anywhere else. Alright, we're still on that 1 in 70 grade heading down. Looks as though we will have to do a railway crossing in a minute. Which means I'll have to blow the horn because there's no barriers. Certainly not in... Whoa, imagine living in this house here in this time period. It's so remote. It's a wonder a railway was even built up here in the first place. Okay. Caution 10. The lack of trains on a Sunday makes it a good day for track work. The speed board here indicates a temporary speed restriction of 10 miles an hour is ahead. It will begin its assignment with a large C on it. Right. That's annoying. But it's a Sunday, so what did I expect? So where... there... So what is this place? Cass. Okay. Looks like we're going straight through Cass. Oh, and it looks as though that the picnic train's heading through Cass now. So I better be careful. That I'm only like a mile behind. I'm less than a mile behind him. I better be careful for a signal. Alright, there's the temporary speed restriction. Alright, let me see. The temporary speed reduction of 10 miles an hour begins here and ends at the other side of Cass with the sign with the capital T on it. It will be on the locomotive assisted side of the track. Make sure the last wagon to the train is cleared it before accelerating. Yeah. There goes the picnic train. He's just accelerating away. Looks as though we do have a green signal. I'll just sound my horn just to make sure the blokes here know that I'm on my way through. Alright. Yeah. Looks as though DJ came up here for the day. The cargo work crew with a work crew. Thanks, fellas. Doing your work on a Sunday. Very helpful. lot of these stations are no more than just like wayside halts. Oh, that is a red signal. I did not notice that before. Let's press tab and see if we can proceed. Alright, I'll stop before the crossing. No, wrong button, wrong button. Alright, I'm a bit far out. Let's move a bit closer, why not? Request to pass signal at danger denied. Got it. I don't want to block the road. That is a bit of an inconveniently placed signal, I must say. Alright. Let's see, is there a problem? How far is he ahead? Not far enough. So yeah, he's just going via the Cass River Bridge. And I've got to stop somewhere up here. Right. All things considered, I don't have too much farther to Arthur's Pass, but with that train, with the infrequency, is that even a word of the signals? Does mean I'll have to wait. I could have stopped at the station and let the passengers disembark, but it was too far back. I wouldn't have been able to see. Appears these chaps are laying some new line. That's so annoying how we have this signal right here. Nope. It must be like at least a couple of miles in between signals. Let's have a look at Cass itself. How big is the settlement? Maybe 10 houses? Tops? Is it connected by road anywhere else? Okay, it is connected by road. Somewhat. Where does this go? Oh, it's a turnaround. It's a turnaround triangle. Interesting. So let's see, what have I got left? I've got to go via the Cass River, stop at Mount White for some reason, pick up passengers from Arthur's Pass. Oh my goodness, what is going on here? Arthur's Pass south, turntable pit, loop, back shunt east. South platform, right. Oh! Yay! Okay, we are cleared to go. Oh, I don't want to... We're still restricted to 10 miles an hour until the last of the carriages passes the thingamajiggy, which I can't remember the name of. The signal. Sometimes I can't English. I do love the sounds on the DJ. It sounds authentic. I wonder what number this one is. 1245. Oh my goodness. Whoops-a-daisy. Stop. I haven't got career scoring turned on, so it doesn't penalize me. However... Right. Rev her up. Alright, give it full beans. One thing I do find annoying, and I've seen this other... Can I open the door? No, I can't. Oh well. I just totally forgot what I was gonna say. Alright. Shut it down. We're still on a 1 in 65 downward grade. What does worry me, once we get to Arthur's Pass, we'll have to switch. Well, in the next video, we'll switch to the EO class and go from Arthur's Pass to Atira. However, that means we'll be heading downhill on that terrible 1 in 33 grade. Which, that does not... That really doesn't, like, give me any hope. Because a 1 in 33 grade is particularly crazy. Since we're not too far behind the first train, we will have to keep an eye out for the signaling. Signal in 0.8 miles. This is a very lonely piece of track, I must say. Alright. Mount White Station halt is just ahead. Once the guard's van is cleared the railway crossing, come to a stop to drop off the urgent delivery. Right-ho. Nice little bridge there. Oh my goodness, frames. Alright. I do have to be careful, because I tried recording this yesterday, and I ran this signal up here, which is red, so I do have to be careful and check to make sure that it isn't red. I think the signal is placed just around this corner. Yeah, it appears to be yellow. I don't trust it. Let's check. Okay, it's not a red signal. I've been pressing tab and it's not saying request to pass signal at danger denied. The smoke simulation is nice. When I revved it up, it emitted a puff of black smoke. Alright. Okay. I'll go slowly for a bit. I know we're going under the limit, but this is better. Okay, I think this is Mount White Halt coming up. There appears to be some sort of road bridge. Which over here. 0.2 miles. I'll start the brakes. Wow, that is a pretty cool looking bridge. Look at that. Oh, that one had a level crossing bell. That's one of the few crossings on this route that actually has a bell. Well, this far up anyway. Probably one of the few ones past Craigieburn that has one. Alright, 0.5 miles. Shut her down. To I think we're close enough. Right. I want to nail this stop. We stopped. Oh, it's a man in a Land Rover. Nice. I didn't even notice him there. I did stop. Hello? Not acknowledging that I completed that. Did you hear the train groan? That was... as it... Hello? You're supposed to have acknowledged that I completed that. The doors aren't opening. I think it still thinks I'm within the area. The passenger carriage is groan, like with a wooden groan. There we go. It's finally acknowledged it. Right. The man in the Land Rover can pick up the urgent delivery from the man in the luggage van. Right. The farmers from Mount White Station, thank you for stopping and dropping off the urgent supplies. Right. Right, Arthur's Pass in 12.6 miles. Which is going to be the final passenger stop, but then I have to do some shunting. Let's give it full welly. The man in the Land Rover will be happy. Right. Another 12 miles to go to Arthur's Pass, so I have to go from here to there. This is the Otira Tunnel, the section that the EO operates on. Thankfully, that stop meant that the train in front is now considerably further than it once was, which on this line is quite good because the signaling is so far apart. You could get stopped at a red signal 2 miles behind the train in front of you. Nowadays, the the Midland line isn't really used for much else other than the Transalpine Express, which runs once a day in each direction from Christchurch and up along this line. Back in 1968, this is still very much a frontier railway. Like up here, you're almost completely cut off from what you would call, from what Westerners would call civilization. Ooh, we have a nice bridge coming up. Ooh, it's a big one. It's a big bridge indeed. Okay, that signal's blank, thank goodness. That is such a cool bridge, man. Oh, there's a little abandoned spur line, I think. No, this is Waimakariri Ballast Pit. Oh. Must be used so they don't have to go so far for ballast resupply, which makes sense, really. 10.5 miles to Arthur's Pass. Alright. According to the ETA estimator, it's saying we have another it's going to take 21 minutes to do 10 miles. Excuse me? Alright, we do have some signals coming up, so we'll have to keep an eye out for those. Even, like, coming across a signal on this line is an event, because they're so sparse. Okay, yellow signal, I think. Hard to tell this far out. Shut it down. Yeah, that appears yellow from where I'm standing. It's not red. Yeah. Which means that signal in 0.5 miles is a Coraline. Is a red one. I understand. So I do have to be careful. I've already canned one recording of this scenario due to running red signals. Look at this. Look at this bridge, man. Like, the closest thing... This is really like one of... The closest thing I can think of is like any other British frontier... any other frontier railways the British built during the colonial era. Because... this has a very frontier vibe to it. Alright, we've got two signals within the space of 0.3 miles of each other. Oh. Coraline. Why does Coraline sound like it was named after the wife of one of the homesteaders here? It's literally a shack with a bench. Oh dear. Alright. Alright. Signal appears clear, but I still don't want to risk it. Alright. We appear to be clear, I think. Alright, let's get back up to line speed. One thing I did learn about the DJ is they were when new, the DJs were supplied in a sort of red color, but it faded so fast it basically became what you see now, basically a pink color. The only company I have is the endless telegraph poles, or electricity poles, or whatever you want to call them. Oh, I just banged my microphone, so I don't know what you heard just then, but it was probably not something very pleasant. Where'd the camera a bit better? There we go. Signal in half a mile. So I will have to be careful. Seven and a half miles to run to Arthur's Pass. Everything is nominal. Thankfully, there aren't any simulated failures to catch me out. Alright, I think we're clear. I've already lost 2 separate recordings to SPAD, so I'm getting quite nervous around signals. The sounds on the DJ are just simply superb. Like this, like the diesel, the sound of the diesels, the track clunks. Like, man, we need more stuff from NZTS. We need another route from them. Like, imagine if we got a modern Auckland route from them. Like a modern Auckland, like, suburban network route. That'd be pretty cool. Alright, we're on a 1 in 75 upward grade again. 6 miles to go. Hopefully all the points into Arthur's Pass are set, but I probably shouldn't do that, not until Picnic Special number 1 has gotten in. I'm at full throttle and still losing speed, lovely. That vigilance system is a bit like the German SIFA. It never acknowledges it when you first press it. You have to like press it frantically in order for it to shut it off. In order for you to shut it off. Ugh. Oh, that's not good. Good thing I checked. Otherwise that might have been a spad. I'll let the hill do the work for now. It's less than 5 miles to Arthur's Pass, and no wonder it's going to take another 11 minutes to get there. One thing I wish we had was a passenger view, but by pressing the 5 key, but unfortunately that's not possible. Alright, I see it. That's annoying. Man, we are in the middle of absolute nowhere. The only thing here is these, like, stone flood protection things. Other than that, there's simply nothing else apart from the signal, the electricity poles, and the railway. Holy. Oh. I left the throttle on 10% by mistake. Good thing the brakes hold us. The brakes did hold us. Right, so we've got a bridge up ahead over the Beely River, which is the one we're next to right now. Then got a bridge over Halpin Creek. Oh, he's just coming into Arthur's Pass. Oh, come on, man. Oh, signal has changed. Right. Alice's pass in 4. Oh my goodness. Come on. Stop rolling backward. Alright, apply the brakes. I think I'm going to have to do a hill start. Full throttle. There we go. Right, we're off. I didn't realize we were still on. Didn't realize we were still on that one in. Oh goodness. Right, sander applying. Come on. Stop losing speed. Come on. I'm having to apply sand. Come on. Get us up to speed, mate. Come on. That is so annoying. I think that is my major complaint about this route. That the signals are just so far apart that if there is a train in front of you, you will get stopped by the train in front, because you're like, even if you're several miles behind, you'll still get stopped at a red signal. That doesn't happen in places with a more regular train service, I presume. Alright, there's the Beeley River Bridge. We have a 37 limit, but it doesn't really matter because we're still heading uphill anyway. Man. The DJ feels, if anything, underpowered for this route, especially with the long rake of coaches like this one. Arthur's Pass in 4 miles, and I cannot wait for us to get there. Wow. That is a narrow bridge. Let's get on the other side so we don't have the wires in the way. Oh, gradient's leveled out. Awesome. Alright. One in 85 grade in effect. We're still climbing. Alright, 34 limit coming into force. Might as well engine brake it. Not engine brake it, but use the brakes while the throttle is going, so I don't use too much speed, because letting the revs come down on this hill would be a really bad idea. Man, this is a tight turn. Oof. Alright, 2.8 miles to Arthur's Pass. Let's see if the train in front has gotten out of the platform. Picnic special number 1 is at... Oh, the south platform. Okay, so we are good to go into the south platform. And also there are no manual points to worry about either. Right, we're now on a 1 in 60 gradient. Right, we've got no more signals. Picnic train should be arriving at Arthur's Pass any moment now. That's if the hill doesn't stop us first. Our speed's just dropping. Man, this route is gorgeous. May I just say. Absolutely gorgeous. Man, this is probably one of the steeper grades I've come across. 1 in 60 is not to be sniffed at. I wonder how a DJ would fare trying to go up the hill from Atira to Oz's Pass. I think there is a scenario where the EOs have failed and you have to take a train through the Atira tunnel uphill. Which would probably be extremely difficult given the steepness of the grade. Alright, we have a green signal ahead of us. .3 miles to Arthur's Pass. Alright. Less than a mile to Arthur's Pass, baby. But that's not the end of this saga. We still have to do some shunting maneuvers. Ugh. I just want to... Man. What an achievement, though. Just getting this close to Arthur's Pass. Didn't think it was possible. This is one of the most epic adventures I've had in a train simulator. I just noticed that the bridges are very 19th century wooden trestle bridges. Alright, it looks as though we have a 10-mile-an-hour limit coming into force just after the platform. But I think we're clear at 45 all the way into the Arthur's Pass itself. That's if we don't stall out on the hill beforehand. Goodness gracious. 1 in 50? That's nuts. All right. Come on. Oh, bridge. It's like a dry riverbed of some kind, maybe a temporary riverbed. And here we are coming into Arthur's Pass itself. What a journey. Oh no. Oh, that's not a red signal. Okay, I just nearly had a heart attack. I hope we're on the right track here. Okay, we are. Alright, electrification has begun for the EO class stock. Arthur's Pass, I've seen footage of Arthur's Pass in real life, and it's basically the same building. Like, this route is just superbly done. Like, all of the details. Alright. Just quickly sound the horn. There's the train that was in front of us the whole time. Oof. This is past station building. Alright, I know what to do. I'll try to stop so the locomotive is just before the signal. But has got all of the... Alright. I think here should do the trick. Stop. Okay, good. There we go. Doors open. Let's have a look at the train that was in front of us all the time. Oh, it's another... Oh, it's a DJ, but instead of the red bumper like we have, it's got the wasp stripes on the front, and it's actually a double header. Back to back. I've also seen footage that this timetable is actually still here, and it's actually still in use, rarely. And there is the start of the Otira Tunnel. 8 kilometers long, and it is... Looks as though it gets steep immediately. Oof. Man, Arthur's Pass is a very small town, I must say. Alright. So what does it want me to do after this? Drop off passengers at Arthur's Pass. Stop at the turntable. Oh, okay. Not. So I think it wants me to decouple from the. Decouple and. Yeah. So do the doors. Did the doors have an open animation? No. I must say, Arthur's Pass station is really cool. Like, the design is absolutely gorgeous. Very odd triangular design, I must say. Looks like you can store an EO over here. Looks like a bit of a maintenance shed for them. Guess we just got to wait for the passengers. The passengers are off to explore the sights around Arthur's Pass and to have a picnic lunch by the Beely River. Before you can join them, the locomotive needs to be turned and moved to the rear of the train for the return journey. Apply the carriage handbrakes and then uncouple and head to the turntable. How do I apply the carriage handbrakes? So I've got to decouple from... So is this locomotive number 39? I think I've got to decouple. There we go. I think that did it. I think that little light is supposed to illuminate when we're clear to go. Ours is past turntable pit, which is... Turntable pit. I don't know if I'm clear to go. I think I'm clear to go because it's not saying the signal to passing at danger denied. Since we're a light locomotive, we should move quite a bit faster now. No. The train's still coupled to me. The train's still coupled. I decoupled. I decoupled the I decoupled the rear luggage van. Whoops. Alright, let's try and recouple up to that luggage van. Whoops-a-daisy. Alright, let's get as close as we can and... Operational error. I don't care. Right. Let me just... Alright. Operational error. What do you mean? That's what I was supposed to do. Right, okay, we're now decoupled. Notch 3, here we go. Oh. I have it in reverse. Alright. There we go. There we go. That took far too much effort in order to get that done. It was not an operational error game. Alright, you're checked, you're checked. Right, this is going to require a tad of finesse in order to get the train lined up absolutely correctly. This is actually a relatively tight turn. Right. I am going to have to do this extremely carefully in order to... Alright. Then have to switch headlights to show that I'm going to actually, no. I'll do the flip the turntable round. Alright, easy does it. Easy does it, old girl. I have to get this absolutely spot on. Otherwise... Before coupling back on, proceed forward onto the turntable and turn the turntable and turn the engine. You can then proceed to the eastbound shunt. That's what I'm doing. Alright, there we go. Full brakes. Go via Arthur's Pass Loop. Where's that? Oh, it wants me to turn around. How do I turn... This is something I never found out. How do I actually turn the turntable? How to turn a turntable with keyboard, Train Sim Classic. I'm literally having to Google this. Ah, no, stop it. G and Shift G, right. Oh, yes, there we go. I'll keep the brakes on. Alright, easy does it. Do have to be line this up exactly. And no! Too far! Stop it! Line it up. Thank you so much. Right. Let's check the points. That was fun. Let me see. Are there any other points that I have to do now? So I have to go through there, through there, through there. Alright. Let me just... Alright, release the brakes, please. Thank you. Alright, I've got a 5 mile an hour limit on the turntable itself. Oh crap. Please don't derail me. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, the turntable is slightly misaligned. That would not have worked in real life. That was close. I think the yard at Arthur's Pass is one of my favorite places on the route. Alright, so I've got to go down to the back shunt east down there. And that's all automatic points for now. Do the taillight switches do so for the front of the locomotive or the rear. I honestly cannot tell. Let's try the other one. Let's just turn them off. I've gotten so far, I'm terrified of somehow bodging the scenario and then like failing and having to redo it all again some other time. What's pretty cool is that, yeah, like this whole entire route is so cool. It just takes for me way too long to complete. No wonder they didn't extend the route to Christchurch. Alright, yellow signal. Alright, ours is 0.15 miles to go. Alright. Alright, okay. Oh wow, this back shunt is on a little embankment, it seems. Right. .05 miles. Alright. Alright, now we have to wait here for a minute. So I will take the time to get you into reverse. There we go. And then turn on the... So that's front headlights off, rear headlights on. It's the first time I've ever used the rear headlights. Reverse back to your train and couple back on, then shut down the locomotive. It's time to grab some lunch. Yeah, after all this. I'd be happy to grab some... actually, I need to check the points first. So I need to go through... Okay, it's all automatic points. So... Alright. Couple back onto the train for the run back down to Christchurch. Honestly, I'm liking the sound of lunch right about now. Wonder if there are any EO class AIs running around. No, it doesn't appear so. Oh, the picnic special seems to be moving. Oh goodness. Alright, I'm going to have to do this rather gently. It's so sad that this section of line isn't electrified anymore. The lines were removed in 1998 because there simply was no need for them anymore. Whoa. Is that a bump? The whole train just jolted. Alright, easy does it. Easy does it. Alright. There we go. Right. Reverser back into forward. Front headlights back on. And that should be it. Yeah, that was the last objective. Right, now all we have to do is wait for a minute, and then we can shut down the train and go grab ourselves a spot of lunch. You did not complete the scenario successfully? Excuse me? Yes, I did. I did everything you asked. Oh. Invalid consist? Excuse me? Anyway, I'm still counting it as complete. I don't care what the game thinks, I'm still counting it as complete. So yeah, that'll be the end of this extremely long video, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, and thank you so much for watching.